everybody, JC here with another TNI toy review. And today we're going to take a look at the new DC Collectibles Arkham Origins Killer Croc figure. Now this figure is part of the second series in their line of figures based on the Arkham Origins video game. And this is one of their deluxe figures. Even though it's a bigger scale figure than the others in the line, but it actually costs the same as the other figures, at least at my comic book shop, which happens to be in the neighborhood around $24, $25. But because this is a bigger scale figure than the others in the line, it comes in box packaging as opposed to the regular blister card packaging. We saw this in Series 1 with the Bane figure, which was bigger than the others. Now this Killer Croc figure is actually even bigger than that Bane figure, but still same style of packaging with the box and everything. So in the front we've got a window on the box so you can see the figure clearly displayed on the package. Up at the top you have the Batman logo from the Arkham Origins video game, and then down below you have the name of the character. On the one side, actually on both sides, you have just picture of Batman from the video game, along with the Batman Arkham Origins logo. And then on the back, we again see the Batman Arkham Origins logo, a little brief synopsis about the video game, and then the other figures that are included in the wave. The other figures include Deadshot, Deathstroke, which we took a look at yesterday, Killer Croc, Anarchy, and Firefly. And all these figures were sculpted by Gentle Giant Studios. Okay, so let's get the figure open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging. And just like with the Deathstroke figure that we looked at yesterday, I think DC Collectibles has done an outstanding job with the overall sculpting and paint apps with this figure. Croc here looks just like he stepped out of the video game. I love the detailing with the scales on the upper body. We've got suspenders, which are actually a separate piece that just kind of hangs. And I'm not really sure why he's wearing suspenders, but definitely he has them in the video game. One of them's broken. And then he's got the pinstripe brown pants. And then even down to the feet where he's got these like kind of shiny toenails. And then he's got the bandage wraps around his feet. On the back as well, I really love the sculpting with the scales on the back. I think the details there is just incredible looking. He's got these big bumps on his shoulders just to give him that added effect. And then again with the suspenders that go around to the back. And then there's some nice shading on the pants, so like down towards the bottom of the pants, they look more dirty as he's been stomping through the mud and rain and everything. So that's just a really nice effect. Now another thing I really like is I like on the face, I really like how they've done the eyes on this figure with the paint apps and everything. It's got kind of like a shiny yellowish paint that they've used, and they really kind of nailed that reptilian kind of eyeball look, so I think they did a really good job with that. And then they've sculpted him with like the smile, the sadistic kind of smile with his teeth sticking out. I don't know if I really like the smile that much. I think I would have maybe liked a little better if they had done like an open mouth where he's like trying to chomp Batman's head off or something. But you know, we do see him with that smile in the video game, so it is again very accurate. And it's not that it's bad, I just kind of think maybe an open mouth expression showing more of his teeth and stuff would have been a little cooler. The figure is very tall. He's the biggest in the series, in both Series 1 and Series 2. He stands at just under 11 inches tall. So he's definitely the biggest figure. Here he is next to the Bane figure, which was the big figure in Series 1, and you can see that he's quite a bit taller than Bane, even. In fact, I've got to say, if I had to be a complaint, like figure-wise, I don't mind him being so big, but I don't think he was this big in the video game. I don't think he was this much taller than Batman in the video game. So they probably made him a little too big as far as being realistic to what it was in the video game. I think in the video game, like his stats say that he is about 10 feet tall. So I think they probably made him a little too tall as far as being realistic. But for a cool figure, I kind of like him being so big, so it doesn't bother me too much. Articulation, again, like with Deathstroke, I think we see DC Collectibles making some significant efforts to try and give these figures more articulation, more posability, which I really like. Now, one thing, if I had to say any kind of complaint with the articulation, I do think that down in the leg area where the legs are attached, you have these gaps between his butt and his leg, which look a little funny. It doesn't bother me too much, and the legs move pretty nicely, so and I think that's why they made the gap there. But it is something that kind of throws the look of the figure off a little bit, and it's somewhat hidden by the suspenders, but you can notice that there's this gap here between the leg and the waist area. Okay, so for articulation, he has pretty good movement at the head. He can look down really good. But with the way the neck is sculpted, he can't really look up. He can look straight, but he can't look up. He has good rotation to the left and to the right. And then the arms are attached with standard ball hinge joints. However, because his shoulders are so big, he can't put his arms all the way out. That's about as far out as he can extend his arms. But he does have good rotation at the shoulder. So that's good. And then he's got a swivel at the bicep. And then he's got single hinged elbows. So that's about as far as he can bend his elbows. And then he's got swivel hinges at the wrist, which I like. And just another attention to detail. I really like how, like, on the bandages on his hands and wrists, he's got, looks like blood stains on it. And then I really like how they've done the nails. He's got like the long, kind of dirty, bone kind of looking nails for claws, which are really cool. And they're pretty sharp too. So at the midsection, he does have an ab crunch, which is nice. So he's got some pretty decent movement. He can bend down. And then he's got really good movement to bend back. So I like that they gave him an ab crunch on this figure. And then he's got swivel at the waist. And then for the legs, he's got that standard kind of T-crotch, so he can't really do any splits at all. But he does have, again, he can put his leg all the way out. And he can even put the leg back pretty good. And again, because the suspenders are loose pieces, but they've given you quite a bit of space, so it doesn't really prohibit the leg movement at all. Now again, he can't do his legs out, so that's not really an issue. But it doesn't. The suspenders don't prevent him from putting the legs forward or backward at all. And then he's got a single hinged knees, or single jointed knees. He does have a swivel at the knee. And then he does have ankle hinge pivots. Now the hinge isn't that big, like with the way the pants are sculpted. So he doesn't have a lot of up and down movement with the ankle, but he does have it, and then he does have the pivot, which is nice. Now it does look a little funny. Like this piece here on the foot is a little longer than the pants leg, so it looks a little funny. It's nothing major, but looks like they made this foot piece a little bit too larger. They should have made the pants leg come out a little bit more, and you see it kind of on both feet. But still, I like that they've given him the ankle pivot for that extra mobility. So that's my review. Overall, I think DC Collectibles has done a really good job with this figure. I really love the detailing and the paint apps. I love that we're seeing additional articulation in these figures. If they'd given him maybe some more flexibility in the legs. That would have been maybe a little bit nicer, but still, I really like this figure's got pretty good posability, especially for DC Collectibles, and I really like to see that DC Collectibles is moving in that direction of giving figures more articulation, along with just nice detail and everything. Now the figure is probably, based on the video game, is probably a little too tall. As an action figure collector, it doesn't bother me too much, but if you're a video game purist, then it might bother you that he's so tall. But to me, that's just not really that major of an issue. The figure is hitting stores now, comic and specialty shops, and your favorite e-tailers. I picked this up for about, I think it was $24, which was the same price of all the figures in the wave. So even though he's bigger, he comes in the box as opposed to the blister card, he's about the same price as the other figures in the wave, which is good. So if you want him, start looking for him now, and until next time, I'll check you later.